What if everything you thought you knew about YNW Melly's case was about to change? The trial that was supposed to happen months ago has been pushed back. Not once, but all the way to 2027. But behind this delay hides a storm of shocking evidence, secret alliances falling apart, and a defiant Melly who is risking it all by going against his own lawyers. From mysterious social media posts tied to gangs, to explosive witness testimonies, and even a co-defendant ready to snitch, this case is more twisted than ever. Stick around, because what comes next could flip the entire story upside down. YNW Melly's retrial has been delayed once again, stirring a lot of attention. The latest update came from a hearing on August 8, when the 4th District Court of Appeals agreed to pause the case. This pause means the trial won't start in September as expected but has been pushed back all the way to January 2027. This sudden change in the trial schedule has caught many by surprise, especially since only a few weeks ago, the judge was firm about not delaying the case any further. At that time, the judge made it clear that while he was willing to press pause on certain motions, he was absolutely against moving the trial date. His reasoning was straightforward. Someone who had been sitting in custody for over 2,000 days deserved to have their day in court without unnecessary postponements. The idea of justice delayed was unacceptable, particularly given the long wait already endured. Yet now, with the trial pushed back significantly, a wave of confusion and skepticism has swept through observers, prompting many to question what might really be going on behind the scenes. Some suspect that there could be corruption or hidden motives influencing this delay. Interestingly, while this postponement may seem like a setback on the surface, it actually presents an opportunity for Melly and his legal team. The delay works in their favor, as it gives them more time to prepare, and, more importantly, strengthens their argument for Melly's release on bond while awaiting trial. Melly's lawyers are now actively using this pause as leverage to convince the court that he should be freed on bail, pointing to the lengthy time he has already spent incarcerated and arguing that further delays only compound the injustice. The main reason behind this unexpected holdup is tied directly to the prosecution's desire for more time to bring new evidence to the table. Prosecutors are intent on bolstering their case against Melly by introducing fresh material that they believe will help ensure a conviction in the upcoming retrial. One significant piece of this new evidence involves a Facebook post that allegedly links Melly to the well-known rapper Young Thug, as well as to certain gang affiliations that both men are accused of sharing. This post is not just any casual social media update. It prominently features symbols and hashtags tied to the Red Street Gang, a group prosecutors argue Melly belongs to, just like Young Thug. These symbols carry serious weight in the case, as they are known identifiers within the gang culture and are used as proof of membership or allegiance. Prosecutors hope that by connecting Melly to these symbols, they can demonstrate a deeper involvement in criminal activities associated with the gang. The Facebook post reportedly includes imagery such as the 5-point star and a snake symbol, alongside hashtags like YNW for life, all of which the state claims are code used within the gang network. What makes this evidence particularly compelling for the prosecution is the fact that Melly himself appeared indifferent to its use. In a surprising moment during court proceedings, Melly was overheard instructing his own lawyers to allow the prosecution to introduce this Facebook evidence. Despite their objections, this unexpected stance from Melly, who loudly declared, "I don't care. I'm not in no gang. They can't prove it," adds a complex layer to the case, highlighting a possible strategy or mindset on his part. However, the use of this social media post is just the tip of the iceberg. Prosecutors also uncovered other, more alarming evidence involving a former gang member who turned informant. This individual claims that before his death, the late King Von revealed conversations with Melly in which Melly allegedly sought advice on how to deal with people and how to get rid of them. These statements imply potential involvement in violent acts, further intensifying the case against Melly. Prosecutors now have a 2-year window to verify and validate this evidence to determine if it can be legally introduced in court. All these developments come amid a wider legal storm for Melly, who is already entangled in multiple serious cases. The weight of new charges, combined with the looming retrial and the introduction of fresh evidence, paints a daunting picture of his legal future. Yet, this delay has given Melly's defense team an opening to push for bond, arguing that the extended wait behind bars without a concluded trial violates his rights. As the trial moves further into the future, the courtroom drama continues to evolve. keeping public attention locked on every new twist in this high-profile case. One of the most surprising moments in the ongoing legal saga surrounding YNW Melly came when he openly defied his own lawyers during a court hearing. Throughout the trial, defense attorneys had strongly advised against allowing certain pieces of evidence to be presented by the prosecution, fearing that it could harm Melly's chances of a fair outcome. Yet, in a bold and unexpected move, Melly himself instructed his legal team to permit the use of this evidence. In open court, he declared loudly and without hesitation, "I don't care. I'm not in no gang. They can't prove it." This moment marked a rare and significant fracture between Melly and his defense, highlighting a level of defiance and confidence on his part that few had seen before. This public rejection of his lawyers' advice raised eyebrows among legal observers and the public alike. It showcased Melly's willingness to confront the charges head-on, refusing to back down even in the face of potentially damaging evidence. His statement was clear. He denies any gang affiliation and believes the prosecution lacks the proof to tie him to such activities. This open disagreement with his legal team underscored the emotional and psychological toll the trial has taken on him, revealing a man who is either confident in his innocence or resigned to face whatever consequences may come. But the evidence Melly allowed into the trial is just one piece of a much larger and more troubling puzzle. Prosecutors have in their possession information that could strike a far more damaging blow to Melly's defense. This involves testimony from a former member of the Oblak gang, a group with which Melly has been linked. This individual, who has since turned informant, alleges that Melly once sought advice from the late King Von on how to deal with people and get rid of them. These chilling words suggest a potential involvement in violent acts, a claim that, if proven true, could dramatically shift the direction of the case against Melly. The late King Von, before his untimely death, reportedly confided in others about these conversations with Melly. Von's statements, shared with prosecutors and investigators, have become a critical part of the case's new evidence. If this testimony is allowed in court, it could provide the jury with a disturbing insight into Melly's mindset and intentions, painting a picture of someone who might have planned or encouraged harm to others. Prosecutors are now under a strict timeline, with only 2 years to validate this informant's claims and determine if the evidence meets the legal standards required to be presented in court. This period will involve rigorous investigation, cross-examination, and legal challenges as both sides prepare for what could be a pivotal moment in the trial. The process of proving the authenticity and relevance of such evidence is complex and fraught with difficulties, as the defense will undoubtedly argue against its admissibility, questioning the credibility of the informant and the motives behind his testimony. This emerging piece of evidence adds a new layer of tension and uncertainty to an already high-stakes trial. It forces both the prosecution and defense to recalibrate their strategies, knowing that the outcome could hinge on whether the jury accepts the informant's story as truthful and compelling. For Melly, this development represents a serious threat to his claim of innocence and his overall defense narrative. Moreover, this situation sheds light on the broader challenges of cases involving alleged gang activity and violent crime. The use of informants who once belonged to criminal organizations is a common but controversial tactic in the justice system. While their insider knowledge can be invaluable for prosecutors, it also raises questions about reliability, bias, and the potential for manipulation. Courts must carefully weigh these factors to ensure that justice is served fairly and accurately. As the trial moves forward, all eyes will be on how this evidence is handled and what impact it has on the proceedings. Melly's open defiance of his lawyers and the introduction of the informant's testimony create a narrative filled with drama, complexity, and uncertainty. It is a vivid example of how legal battles can unfold in unexpected ways, where the lines between strategy, truth, and justice often blur. In the end, the question remains: will this troubling evidence be enough to tip the scales against YNW Melly, or will he manage to overcome these accusations and prove his innocence? The coming months promise to be critical in answering that question, as prosecutors push forward with their case and Melly fights to defend himself against mounting challenges. To make things worse for Melly, he faces another serious legal battle. Aside from this retrial, he is involved in a second case where he could face life in prison. His first trial ended without a guilty verdict, partly because his girlfriend, Mariah Hamilton, fled the country and refused to testify. But recently, she was caught trying to return to the U.S. and was arrested at Miami International Airport. She has now been placed in Broward County Jail, and her testimony could play a critical role in this ongoing saga. Mariah Hamilton's time in jail was brief but impactful. After just a few days behind bars, she struck a deal with the judge. If she agreed to testify against YNW Melly, she would be released immediately. Without hesitation, Mariah accepted the offer, a decision that dealt a significant blow to Melly's defense. Shortly after, she took to Facebook to thank her supporters, writing, "Into my village. Thank you to my village. I love you all so much. God's plan, not mine." Her message reflected a mix of gratitude and acceptance of the situation, signaling a turning point in the case. Prosecutors have been eager to secure Mariah's cooperation because her iCloud contains key evidence that could further complicate Melly's situation. Among the files are messages and recordings that suggest Melly pressured her not to testify, a serious offense known as witness tampering. According to investigators, Melly repeatedly called Mariah from jail, using the jail phone to urge her to leave the country and avoid testifying. This kind of interference with the judicial process is treated very harshly under the law and can result in a life sentence, regardless of the outcome of the original charges. In response to these revelations, the state has filed 6 new charges against Melly and 2 associates. These charges include tampering with a witness, directing or participating in a criminal conspiracy to interfere with justice, and unlawful use of communication devices to commit these acts. The addition of these charges means that even if Melly were to be found not guilty in the original case related to the deaths of Sack Chaser and Juvie, he could still face severe penalties based on the witness tampering allegations alone. The gravity of these new accusations adds another layer of complexity to Melly's already complicated legal battles. Witness tampering is viewed as an attack on the integrity of the judicial system itself, and courts take such charges very seriously. Mariah's willingness to testify, backed by digital evidence from her iCloud, puts Melly in a precarious position, making it clear that the prosecution's case is far from over, and that new challenges lie ahead for his defense team. Some of these charges could result in life imprisonment if convicted. The witness tampering case is separate from the murder charges, meaning Melly could be found not guilty of the killings but still face life in prison for tampering alone. The disturbing part: Melly has been banned from using jail phones for over 3 years. This harsh treatment caught public attention when Melly's mother, Jamie King, spoke out. She revealed that her son is denied phone access and even mail, while convicted inmates are allowed these basic rights. "My son has not been convicted of anything," she said, calling the jail's behavior unfair and inhumane. If the jail had no evidence of Melly's misuse of phones, they would not restrict his access. Doing so risks a costly lawsuit. Jamie King shared how heartbroken and helpless she feels watching her son's suffering. "When I saw Melly's statement about being hurt and scared for his life, it broke my heart," she said. She called for an investigation into the Broward County Sheriff's Office, accusing them of making their own rules and evading accountability. This situation sparked reactions in the rap community. Charleston White voiced strong support for the harsh jail treatment, saying, "YNW Melly should not get special treatment because he's famous. When you take a life, you have no right to complain about being mistreated." Meanwhile, rapper Bowie showed empathy for Jamie King's stress, recalling his own mother's struggles and offering support. With Mariah turning against him, Melly's troubles deepen. The trial was further delayed when the judge announced that Melly would be tried alongside co-defendant YW Bortland. During a hearing, the judge confirmed that both defendants' cases would be held together at an unspecified future date, extending the wait and complicating Melly's legal battles even more. This development is far from the relief Melly hoped for, signaling a tougher road ahead. Let me break it down. The relationship between YW Melly and his co-defendant, YW Bortland, has completely fallen apart. Recently, a no-communication order was put in place for their trial. This means Melly and Bortland can't talk to each other. No direct conversations. No lawyer-mediated chats. Just silence. The prosecutors are pushing to try them together, hoping Bortland will end up snitching on Melly. Trying them jointly benefits the state because it's more efficient. They can handle everything at once and increase their chances of getting the two to incriminate each other during the trial. On the other hand, the defense wants to separate the cases, so each can blame the other and avoid punishment, but the judge hasn't agreed to split the trials automatically because both men faced the same guilt phase, the capital crime charges. Only the penalty phase might be separate if Melly is found guilty. Here's the tricky part. If Bortland knows he's innocent of the serious charges, it's unlikely he'll just accept a life sentence quietly. That makes it very possible he'll finger Melly, just like Melly tried to blame Bortland during the first trial. Since then, Melly and Bortland have stopped talking altogether. The tension started on the trial's first day when Melly's lawyer tried to blame Bortland for the crime. The evidence shows Bortland lied about where and how the incident happened. He was caught at Memorial Hospital, Miami, not sitting there, but driving a car containing 2 BODs, with powder residue on his clothing, indicating he had fired a gun. He also lied about not having a phone, though prosecutors pointed out everyone has a phone these days, except him. Melly's lawyer revealed Bortland was the one lying to the feds and was the last person seen with the victims, Juvie and Sack. Before they died, they even brought in a forensic expert who confirmed powder residue on Bortland's hands, suggesting involvement in the shooting. Unhappy with the situation, Bortland sent a cryptic tweet on the same day Melly's mistrial was declared, saying, "Mind games don't work on people like me," followed by a handshake emoji, possibly signaling he's considering a deal. But there's more. Bortland was recently arrested on a warrant from Broward County for witness tampering. The warrant alleges that between April and July 2023, Bortland tried to mislead someone to keep them from testifying against Melly in the trial. This timeline coincides with jury selection and the mistrial date, showing the tampering happened during the trial process. Lastly, during a raid on Bortland's home, investigators found notes describing jury members from the first trial. Apparently, after seeing the jury on trial day 1, Bortland went home and wrote down detailed descriptions of them, information that could be used to influence the trial. All this paints a picture of a messy, tense, and complex legal battle, where trust between co-defendants is gone, and new evidence could seriously damage both men's chances. Just before Melly's lawyers started dropping dirt on Bortland, it really looked like Bortland might be ready to throw Melly under the bus, especially about those jurors. But honestly, this whole situation feels sloppy. How do you end up with a notebook full of juror descriptions right at your house? That's like keeping surveillance footage on your DVD player and hoping no one finds it. Come on, man. That's basic mistake number 1. Having Bortland involved now could finally clear up a major mystery. What was going on just 3 hours after the crime? Because, believe it or not, Melly was caught on video dancing in a parking lot with Bortland like nothing had happened. People were shocked. How could someone be so carefree so soon after something so serious? Yet, there he was, still turnin', staying positive, as if the world wasn't crashing down. There's also the question about why Melly left the rap studio early, hopped into the back left seat of a Jeep, and waited for the others to get in. This might be crucial, because court documents say the bullet trajectories match shots fired from that exact seat where Melly was sitting. If that's true, it paints Melly in a very guilty light. It's worth noting that Juvie's mother already confirmed he was present in the car. Speaking of family, here's Leon Phillips, Juvie's mother, testifying about what she saw. She identified the people getting into that gray Jeep. The back seat on the right was where her son got in, and the left rear side was occupied by someone named Julia. She's also asked to weigh in on whether she believes Melly is guilty or not. So, what's your take? What do you think really happened that day? And if you're a fan of YNW Melly, don't forget to leave a like and share your thoughts.